Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on my show.
So the poll question's around, but the poll question in here is, did you buy new glasses for the Rio Games? That's the word on the street.
I bought an extra pair of glasses, so I have a couple of pair here. So the answer is yes.
Okay, that's great. Appreciate it. Excellent wrap-up of the Rio Games.
All righty. Talk to you tomorrow.
Let's probe deeper. Let's talk food. How good is the food in Rio? Best meal you had throughout this experience?
Well, they have those Brazilian steakhouses that you can see in different parts of the United States. So they come around with just big slabs of meat, and they just start carving them off. And I went one night with Al Michaels, of course, and so Al can put away some steaks. So they were just carving up a storm. I think somebody may have needed Tommy John surgery after they were done carving so much for Al. But that was a great meal. There were times I ate things I didn't know exactly what it was, but it was very good. Only once I got burned where I wasn't sure what it was, but it had to do with some part of some body of some animal, and I thought, probably don't want to try that again.
What was it?
I don't know.
Oh, you still don't know?
No, I'm not quite sure. They were trying to show me, but they tried to show me on their body, and that's not and it was a guy, so that's not a pleasant thing.
That is not pleasant. I think I'd rather have Zika. The hotel lobby bar, often a huge hangout at the Olympics. Who's your new MVP?
Let's see, MVP. Probably some people you wouldn't know. Jimmy Roberts is all lobby pretty much every Olympics. Steve Sands from the Golf Channel wasn't in my hotel, but he's normally all lobby. I have to be on the first or second team, I think, all lobby. Doug Collins and his wife and Marv Albert were in the lobby a few times. Trying to think who else might have been in there. That would be the short list there of
that's your all lobby team. So
yes.
So Marv perhaps the MVP, but Jimmy Roberts always a frequent.
Jimmy Roberts probably MVP. Marv was drinking orange juice because I think he was battling a sore throat. But
see, that's a move I never get. The going to the lobby bar and drinking orange juice. I gotta have.
Well,
gotta have something stronger.
He had a sore throat, so I think he was he was there to keep Doug company, or the other way around.
All right, so here we are, Dan. Day nine of Loch D Gate, the Loch Mess. Do you still want to interview him? What question still hasn't been asked of him?
Well, I want him to clear up what he means by robbery. Were they robbed? Were they held up at gun? Like, just clarify, because it feels like it's still vague. And if I was his agent, I wouldn't have had him do the interview with Matt Lauer. I don't think he came off well. I think you almost have to let it settle a little bit there and then do something that's a little more controlled, or that you're controlling it, instead of sitting down with someone like Matt who, can slice and dice you a little bit. But it's just, I still have questions because there might have been something that really happened to them. I think that they were drunk, but you can't tell me that you were so drunk that when you did your interview with Billy Bush that you didn't know what you knew or didn't know. Like, it just, I think he's still trying to make up the story as he goes along, and that's a problem. You have to have your story down pat instead of sort of, I'll see if I can just, kind of bluff my way through this.
It's still evolving. He told Kevin Frazier last week before all this started that he would be interested in co-hosting or guest hosting this program. Is that offer still out there, Dan?
Sure.
So Ryan, you heard
who made that? Who made that offer, by the way? Was that Paulie or
Kevin Frazier?
It was a collective effort, Dan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure.
That's news to you.
Yeah.
So
sure. All for that.
Let's hope that's not the lasting impression of these games. And I think a week or two from now, it's probably long forgotten. What's your lasting image of the last couple of weeks?
Well, I expected Phelps. I expected Bolt. I expected Simone Biles. I expected Ledecky. I think the Brazilian soccer win in what that meant to this country. So the two things they love soccer and they love volleyball, and they won gold in both of those. But soccer, the drama of that to be in your country, and here's Neymar, who they mocked at the start of it. You know, they were guys wearing Neymar shirts crossed out and they put Marta, the great female soccer player, on the back of their jerseys. So for him to do it and do it like that in front of his home country, that wasn't expected. And I think that's one of those moments where people came back to the hotel and they had taken video of it on their phone, and they said the stadium was rocking, like moving. It was so loud. And they had been to all these events, and they said that was their favorite event that they saw. So watching it on TV and just hearing an entire area of the city erupt, because they're all watching outside, because a lot of the people couldn't get in to go see it, but to all these little stands where they had bars and they had TVs, and the locals would just stand there, and it erupted. It was like this sound that was, and I could only imagine what it was in the stadium, but it was unbelievable, just that feeling.
Like some hockey purists, some true soccer fans hate that a game of that magnitude would be decided by a shootout. Where do you side on that?
I'm okay with it because you have two 15-minute periods there where you're trying to, somebody can win it then, and then if you don't, then okay, let's wrap it up. I mean, you can't make it like a 6-hour marathon. You get your opportunities. Let's put it that way. And then when it comes to penalty kicks, I love the drama of it. I just, if you watched even with women's soccer with the United States, they had their chances. They just didn't do it. And then you get to penalty kicks, and they didn't do it there either. So I love the drama, and I love the build up to it, and it certainly played out that way.
It was awesome to see him in tears after that. Did you spend one extra day in Rio because you realized I hadn't bought gifts for the Danettes? Is that what the extra day was built in for?
No. I tried to get out last night and couldn't do it. By the time I got off the air on NBC, I couldn't make that flight. So I was actually trying to do it, but no, I'm staying an extra day because I had to stay an extra day.
Well, now you have your chance to go and hit up the airport gift shop and bring gifts back for the guys. I left you a gift. We'll see how long it takes you to find it. Siciliano told me you cannot take anything out of here, but I'm going to see if you can bring something new and how long it takes you to recognize that
I like
new
that.
edition.
Yeah, because people are normally trying to steal stuff there. The fact that you would drop something off is very nice. I appreciate that.
Which of the Danettes did you miss most?
Oh, man.
They're all waiting with bated breath.
Well, it's not Fritzy because I talked to him quite a bit on the phone. I guess the wisdom that is McLovin, that that there's something that's different there every day. Yeah. So Seton and Paulie, I sort of know what to expect. McLovin, I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I mean that in a positive way. So I'd say McLovin maybe just a little. I would say by a nose, but then he'd think I'd be making fun of him, and I'm not doing that.
McLovin, by a nose, buddy.
I'm a little emotional here. Give me a second. I love you. I can't wait for you to get back. I'll hang up and listen.
I thought he'd go with the diplomatic, I missed all my kids the same as I say to my children all the time. That was
no. I learned this from my mom, who has favorites with my brothers and sisters, and she is not shy in saying that. So that's why there are times when I'll tell my kids that I love one more than the other one, and but that means they have to step their game up a little bit.
You know what? There was one time over the last 4 years that I missed Andrew too, so I don't blame you, Dan. One time it happened over 4 years. I missed McLovin.
Well, it takes me going away for 3 weeks to actually miss McLovin, but we found out how long that time frame is. So yes, after 3 weeks, I miss McLovin.
Oh, reunited tomorrow at 9 a.m. He can't wait to see you either, Dan.
I was worried Dan wouldn't remember all four Danettes' names when he got back, so I'm relieved that he got me in there.
Well,
That's why I hesitated there, McLovin. I go, damn, what's his name? What's his name? Pearl? What's his name?
there was a
So I
long
look forward to
pause.
seeing you guys tomorrow morning.
There was a long enough pause to Google search the Danettes and get all their names in. I noticed how long that was. Been there, done that. Dan, safe travels home. Thanks again for having me in.
All right, boys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.